All right, the season is coming to a conclusion. The games are more important. Getting plays right, especially in end-of-game situations, is critical. Today we're looking at 14 play scenarios, including some end-of-game scenarios. Stick around to the end of the video for those. Let's get started. Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Basketball Rules Expert, the show where we take National Federation of High School Basketball rules and lift them off of the printed page, breathing life into them, simplifying, clarifying, amplifying so that we can take those rules with us onto the basketball court. Greetings again, everybody. My name is Greg Austin with abetterofficial.com. I've been a high school basketball official here in the San Francisco Bay Area for over a decade. I consider myself knowledgeable about the rules of high school basketball, and this show is all about helping you on a journey to becoming a basketball rules expert as well. If you are a basketball official interested in basketball officiating content, now would be a great time to like, subscribe, and hit the notify bell so you don't miss out on any of our new content. Before we get started, allow me to thank our tremendous show supporters: Paul Figlia, Scott Calvin, Kevin Cochran, JJ Jemison, and Ted Haeder. Much appreciated and much love. If you want to support the show, there's always an opportunity, a link in the show notes below. All right, today we are looking at play scenarios so that we can get better as basketball officials, discussing the ins and outs of the rule, refining our understanding so that we can adjudicate plays properly on the court. Let's get started with our very first play scenario. A1 is fouled by B1 during rebounding action. The players then go face-to-face, and a double technical foul is called. The original foul by B1 was the 10th team foul on Team B. The officials report all fouls and then resume the game with 2 free throws by A1 with players filling marked lane spaces. Were the officials correct? Yes or no, right? So we have a foul. We're in bonus. We have a foul by B1 on A1, which would result in bonus free throws. And then the two players exchange pleasantries, or in this case, unpleasantries, to each other, and the officials assess technical fouls on each of the players, a double technical foul. How would we resume in this situation? Remembering that double always equals no free throws and point of interruption. Double technicals, double foul, double intentional, double flagrant. Double means no free throws, point of interruption. What is our point of interruption on this play, right? So we think this through on the court. Right, we have this tension rising. We have, potentially other teammates coming in. We've got to calm this situation down. Right, energy is heightened, etc. But then, how are we going to resume the game? And understanding that is always critical. In this instance, we have a double technical foul, so we would resume the game at the point of interruption. The point of interruption was a foul while the team was in bonus, resulting in 2 free throws for A1. Simple, straightforward. And so in this instance, right. So in this instance where the officials assessed and reported all of the fouls, both the original foul and the 2 technical fouls, and then resumed the game at the point of interruption, being the 2 bonus free throws for A1. In this instance, were those officials correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. All right, a great refresher on double technical fouls and how to adjudicate plays, let's move on to our next play scenario. A double personal foul is ruled in the front court near the sideline while A1's try for goal is in flight. The try is successful. Team A has the possession arrow. The officials score the goal and report the double foul and award an alternating possession throw-in to Team A near the spot of the foul. Were the officials correct? Yes or no, right? So we have a try in flight here. A try is in flight and a double foul is ruled. The fouls are reported, the goal is scored, and the resumption of play is determined to be an alternating possession throw-in near the spot of the foul. So our crew in this instance did some things correctly. But a key component here is when the try is in flight and there is a double foul ruled, does the ball become dead? Does the double foul cause the ball to become dead? And if not, what then would be our point of interruption on this play? So we have a try in flight, two players engaged, but not letting go. A double foul is ruled. The ball does not become dead. The result of the try will count. And then what is then our point of interruption? Remember, double fouls equal point of interruption. What is the point of interruption after a scored goal? It would be a throw-in for the opponent with the non-designated spot throw-in, allowing them the opportunity to run the end line. That would be our point of interruption. Right? So in this instance, when the officials ruled our the resulting throw-in to be an alternating possession throw-in near the spot of the foul, were our officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. Right? This point of interruption on this play is a throw-in on the end line for the opponent on this play. All right, a second double foul play scenario. So we should really have a solid understanding. Let's move forward now and look at our next play scenario. From behind the three-point line, A1 sees A2 make a backdoor cut to the basket. A1 passes the ball towards the ring, and A2 leaps for the potential alley-oop dunk. The ball, however, enters and passes through the goal directly from A1's pass and is not touched by A2. The officials rule this to be a pass and therefore only a 2-point goal. Were the officials correct? Yes or no, right? It's clear, the player throws basically a chest pass for this alley-oop. Player goes up for the dunk, but the ball instead, without the player touching it, passes through the basket. The officials say, well, that was not a try for goal. We are only going to score 2 points. Are the officials correct? Yes or no, right? This is misunderstood. I think it's different at different levels potentially, but any thrown ball from beyond the three-point arc in National Federation of High School Basketball rules that enters the basket directly is considered to be a 3-point goal by rule. So in this instance, when the officials ruled this to only be a 2-point goal, were the officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. This should be a 3-point goal by rule. Even if we understand that it was not a try for goal by rule, it is ruled as a 3-point goal. All right, let's take a look at our next play scenario. With 0.3 of a second left in the second period, A1 is at the line for one free throw. A1's try misses, and A2 legally taps the ball towards the basket and is fouled by B3. The ball had left A2's hand and the foul occurred before the horn. The tap is unsuccessful. The officials rule that A2 is awarded 2 free throws with the lane cleared and the period ends after A2's free throw attempts. Were the officials correct? Yes or no, right? So 0.3 of a second on the clock. Players at the line for a free throw. They release the free throw. On the rebound, teammate bats the ball towards the goal and is fouled before the horn. Time expires. The officials rule this player is awarded 2 free throws with the lane cleared. Is this the correct ruling on this play? Right? We know that with 0.3 of a second or less, a player may not catch the ball and release a try by rule. But in this instance, the player tapped the ball. So this attempt is a legal attempt for a goal. If the ball goes in the basket, we would score the goal. If the player is fouled during the tapping action, they shall be awarded 2 free throws in this instance, right? This is also an instance in high school where the timer has no ability to properly stop the clock in this instance. By case play and by rule, we would, with the lane cleared, attempt these 2 free throws. And since, even though time has expired in the period, this activity is part of this period, and upon the completion of the free throws, the period would have ended, right? So in this instance where the officials approached and adjudicated the play and administered the play in this fashion, were the officials correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. Each element executed by the officials is correct by rule. Now, some officiating crews are going to say, well, I'm going to use some logic here. I know that the foul occurred before the horn, and the clock should have stopped when that happened, so we are going to put time back on the clock without definitive knowledge, but I know that some time must be put back on. It was at 0.3, and now it's at 0, so I'm going to put either 0.2 or 0.1 because they feel they're compelled. We must have time. We must have players on the lane. Case play would suggest otherwise, that we can have a scenario where there's zeros on the clock. This player will attempt these free throws, and that would be the correct adjudication by rule for National Federation of High School Basketball rules. All right, we've got a rhythm going. Let's look at our next play scenario. After a scored goal, Team A has a throw-in along the end line. A1's long throw-in pass is caught by teammate A2 near the division line, but A2 has a foot out of bounds when they contact the ball. The officials rule an out-of-bounds violation on Team A and award a throw-in to Team B for a sideline throw-in. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Right? This is a question that I often see there's confusion about, a misunderstanding about. A throw-in pass that's thrown to and is contacted by a player who is out of bounds. Is this a failure to throw the ball directly onto the court and a throw-in violation as a result? Or is this an out-of-bounds violation at the spot where the player contacted the ball? Right? This is simple and straightforward. This is an out-of-bounds violation by rule, right? The resulting throw-in, it is not a throw-in violation to pass the ball and have it contacted by somebody who is out of bounds near the division line in this instance. So in this instance where the officials did rule an out-of-bounds violation as opposed to a throw-in violation, were the officials correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. This is an out-of-bounds violation by rule, and the resulting throw-in would be at the spot of the out of bounds violation. After Team A had previously been given a warning for delay for breaking the throw-in plane during a Team B throw-in in the first half, A1 reaches through the boundary on a Team B throw-in during the second half. The officials rule a team technical foul on Team A, 2 free throws, and a throw-in at the division line. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Simple, straightforward play, easy to adjudicate. A team warning for delay, any team warning for delay, failure to have the court ready after a 30-second timeout, delaying, preventing the ball from becoming live, etc. Any delay of game warning prior to this, and now we have a player who does something that would in itself rise to the level of a delay of game warning. If a previous delay of game warning had been issued, then this would now be a technical foul. It is a team technical foul by rule. It's not on the player. Even if the player had done the same action in the first half, and now they've done it a second time, it's not on the player. It's a team warning for delay, and then a subsequent action that would rise to the level of a team warning for delay. And on that second event, it would trigger a team technical foul by rule, 2 free throws to the opponent, 1 foul added towards bonus, division line throw in opposite the table. Let's move on to our next play scenario. A1 has the ball for a sideline throw-in in the backcourt. A1's throw-in pass is deflected by B1, and the ball actually becomes lodged between the rim and the backboard of Team B's basket. The officials rule a throw-in violation on Team A. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Right? Well, on a throw-in, you cannot, if the ball enters the basket or becomes lodged between the basket and the backboard, that is a throw-in violation. So it would appear that our officiating team made the correct ruling on this play. But wait a minute. That's during a throw-in. When does the throw-in end? When it's legally touched in bounds, the throw-in has ended by rule. So remembering one of the attributes of the restarts in the game of basketball, there's 3 of them: jump ball, free throw, throw-in. The ball is dead. We're making the ball live. During these restarts, there's a special set of rules and restrictions that only apply once the restart has started and until the restart ends. So we have throw-in restrictions and throw-in violations that can occur, but they can only occur during the throw-in. And in this instance, the touch by the defense ended the throw-in. The resulting lodging of the ball in this instance would result in a held ball situation. So in this situation where the officials ruled a throw-in violation, were our officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. Moving on. Next play scenario. After A1 begins the shooting motion on their final free throw, B1 in the first marked lane space extends an arm and displaces A2. The free throw is successful. The officials rule a foul on B1. Since the foul was before the release, they disallow the goal and award a substitute throw with the lane cleared. Play resumes with an end-line throw-in for Team B. Were the officials correct? Yes or no, right? Play occurs, free thrower has begun their pre-shot routine, they complete it, they begin their throwing motion, opponent of the thrower extends an arm and displaces a teammate of the thrower, and a foul is ruled, but the foul is ruled to have occurred before the release of the free throw, and so the officials disallow the goal and award an end line throw in for Team B, after first awarding a substitute throw. Right? So in this instance, what our officials did is they say, okay, we're going to have a foul. We're going to award a substitute free throw, right? And then we're going to penalize the foul. So what we would do is clear the lane, award the substitute free throw, and then resume with the resulting throw-in. That would be how they handled it in this instance. But is that the correct adjudication on this play, right? Something to remember, that continuous motion applies when any defensive player commits a foul, and it does apply during a free throw attempt. This player had begun their habitual throwing motion when there was a foul by the defense. That foul by the defense does not cause the ball to become dead, and our thrower is allowed to complete their habitual movement, and the result of that movement will count, right? So the ball did not become dead in this instance until the completion of the free throw. We should have scored the goal and then penalized the foul. So in this instance where the officials did not do that, were our officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. We should have scored the goal, then administered the penalty for the foul. Onward we move. Let's look at our next play scenario. Before the ball is released on a free throw attempt by A1, B1 in a marked lane space extends their arm over the area between the lane spaces and contacts A2 in the second lane space. The try is unsuccessful. The officials rule a delayed violation on B1 and award a substitute free throw. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? So in this instance, the official says, wait, this player is not allowed outside of their marked lane space with their arms. We see players in marked lane spaces engage with an opponent, put a hand on an opponent, right, in anticipation of potentially boxing that opponent out for the resulting rebound on a play. When this player made contact, the contact that did not rise to the level of a foul, but simply extended outside of the 3-foot marked lane space, have they committed a violation as the officials ruled in this instance? Players are allowed, not their feet must remain within the marked lane space, but their body is not, there is no restriction against their body, right? They can lean their upper torso outside. They can extend an arm in anticipation of contact with an opponent. They can make contact with that opponent. They may not make illegal contact with that opponent, as in our previous play where the player extended an arm and displaced the opponent, right, before the free throw was released. That's illegal contact, and that's penalized. If the contact does not rise to the level of a foul, it is legal by rule. So in this instance where the officials ruled a delayed violation for that activity, were our officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. This was a legal play by rule. All right, next play. Here we go. After Team A scores in the last 10 seconds of the second half, and before the ball is at the disposal of Team B for a throw-in, A1 grabs B2 in an effort to have a foul ruled and save time. The officials rule an intentional foul on A1, and B2 is awarded 2 free throws. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Right? So we've got desperation. Ball goes in the basket. The clock is running down. Player reaches out and intentionally fouls an opponent. The officials rule an intentional foul and award the offended player 2 free throws. Were the officials correct in this instance? Yes or no? right? So important in this whole scenario is what is the status of the ball when the foul occurs, right? Understanding status of the ball, live ball, dead ball, backcourt, front court, inbounds, out of bounds, etc., is critical to adjudicating plays properly. In this instance, the ball was dead. The free throw had not yet begun. The ball had not yet been made live. So this is a dead ball contact foul. In this instance, it is intentional, but it is an intentional technical foul by rule for a foul during dead ball. The adjudication of the play, the administration of the play, instead of the offended player in this instance attempting 2 free throws, any teammate, any team member, or any player rather, or eligible substitute would attempt the free throws. And as opposed to an intentional foul being resuming at the point of interruption, or resuming at a spot nearest the foul, we would resume with a division line throw in opposite the table. So when the officials in this instance ruled an intentional foul for dead ball contact, were the officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. Next play. A1 is fouled in the act of shooting by B1. A1's try or tap is successful to make the score, with Team A leading 62-58. When the foul occurs, the clock is stopped with zeros showing, but no end of quarter signal, horn, or light has indicated. The officials rule that since the result of the free throws will not affect the game, they will not be attempted, and the game is over. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Right? We know that if the free throws at the end of the game, if the free throws will not affect the outcome of the game, we will not attempt those free throws, right? That we know. But when does the game end by rule? The game ends by rule when the light sounds, signals, or the horn sounds. Having zeros on the clock does not necessarily mean that the game has ended. We need the signal, either the light or the horn, that signals the end of the game. So in some instances, if you have a clock that does not display tenths, when it gets to 1 second and begins counting down from 1 second to 0, the clock goes to zeros. So we can have a situation where we have time left on the clock and the scoreboard shows zeros. So the horn or the light is going to indicate the end. So in this instance, we had not reached the end of time, even though the clock displayed zeros. Something we can be aware of if it's a critical moment in the game and we have zeros up there and the horn hasn't sounded is we can go to the scorer and say, what do you show on your display? Their display may say, oh, I have 0.8. I have 0.2. Why would we need to know that, right? In this instance, we wouldn't, but if it's a situation at the end of the game where we are 0.3 or less, that would be a key piece of information that we would need. So in this instance where the officials failed to award merited free throw, were the officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. The game had not ended. The free throw was merited. We should have attempted those free throws. So the officials were not correct in this instance. Our penultimate question is upon us. Let's look at our next to last play scenario. A1 scores a goal to give Team A a 2-point lead with just a few seconds remaining. Team members A11, A12, A13, and A14, believing the game to be over, run onto the court to congratulate A1 despite there being 3 seconds remaining. The officials assess bench technical fouls on all 4 team members and 4 indirect fouls to the head coach. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? This is a situation where multiple team members, bench personnel, have done something that rises to the level of a technical foul. We know that if one of the team members had taken this action, they would receive a technical foul. The coach would receive an indirect technical foul. But in this instance, 4 team members. Do they each receive a technical foul and the coach an indirect for each of their actions? Or is this treated under National Federation of High School Basketball rules as a multiple person event and only one technical foul? Now, obviously, at the end of the game, this could have a dramatic impact on the game, right? And we want to adjudicate these plays properly. By rule, in this instance, the action by the team members on the bench is considered one technical foul. This would be one bench technical foul, the penalty for which would be 2 free throws only, the ball to the opponent at the division line opposite the table. And since it was the behavior of bench personnel, which was assessed a technical foul, an indirect technical foul on the head coach as well, and they would lose the privilege to stand and coach their team. But it's important to know in this instance, when multiple players take this action, by rule, it is to be considered only as one technical foul. So in this instance, where the officials ruled 4 technical fouls, 4 indirects, right? 8 free throws, 4 indirects, ejection of the head coach. Were the officials correct? No. No, they were not. There should be 1 technical foul, 1 indirect, and the game would proceed with a division line throw-in opposite the table. And here we are with our final rules question. Let's take a look. With 0.3 seconds left in a tie game, each team is in the bonus. Team A has an end-line throw-in under their basket. A1 throws the ball to A5 on the near block, who catches the ball and quickly shoots. A5 is fouled by B3 just prior to the horn, and the ball goes in. The officials rule no goal and a 1-and-1 bonus. A5's free throw attempts will determine if the game is over or if an overtime period is necessary. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Wow. End of game scenario. Can you imagine this scenario in your game? It's 0.3 or less. Both teams in the bonus. End line throw in under the basket. Player catches the ball, is fouled, the horn sounds, and the try is released, right? This is a super unique scenario that is really in the far fringes of the rule, but obviously one that's critical to understand in an end-of-game setting. We know that a player cannot catch with 0.3 or less, catch the ball and release a try. So there is no try on this play. But we also know in this instance, the catching of the ball does not cause the ball to become time to expire or the ball to become dead. And the resulting foul is a foul that needs to be penalized by rule. The foul occurred before the horn. So in this super unique scenario, the correct adjudication of the play is to award bonus free throws. In this instance, no time on the clock, bonus free throws, lane cleared, and the result of those free throws will determine the outcome of the game. So in this instance where the officials ruled just that, were our officials correct, yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. Impressive. Impressive job. Thanks for joining us today for the Basketball Rules Expert. If you are a basketball official and this is the video content that you find valuable, make sure you do all the things. Hit like the video. That helps us get the video in front of more basketball officials so we can all get better together. And hit like and subscribe So you don't miss out on any of our new content. We live stream every Wednesday and Friday. Join us for the live stream and we can all get better together. Fantastic. Allow me to thank our tremendous show supporters: Paul Figlia, Scott Calvin, Kevin Cochran, JJ Jemison, and Ted Haeder. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? You can always buy us a coffee. There will be a link in the show notes below and a link up above. Hey, we've got additional video content available for you here. I've made this choice. YouTube made this choice. You make your choice. And we'll see you in the very next video. Take care, everybody.